Yes, real late. Rosenberg Radio. My name is Peter Rosenberg. Tariq Sharif. That's how you say your last name?
Facts.
Got it all right. AKA head honcho at Rolling Loud. I guess we should go ahead and call this the preeminent hip hop touring festival that there is at this point.
I don't know what we call it. We just do it.
But right now, first of all, let's start with the biggest news in terms of how it impacts people listening and watching right now, which is that you have announced Miami 2018.
Yep.
So break that down. Give us the dates, locale, headliners.
We got May 11th through 13th, 2018, Miami, Florida, Hard Rock Stadium, outside the stadium, not in the stadium. We've got J. Cole, Travis Scott, Future, Lil Uzi, Migos, Post Malone, NERD, Wiz Khalifa. I could keep going.
It's endless.
Yeah.
I mean, it runs the entire gamut.
Cardi B, Yachty, 21.
Did you intend, and we'll mention more of them as time goes on here, did you intend when you got this thing started that like it would be so all-encompassing hip-hop wise? Was that always the goal?
Yeah, so we started in 2010 booking regular hip-hop shows in Florida because we were in college. It's myself and my business partner, Matt. We were in college and nobody was booking like the Currencies and the Big Sean's and the stuff like that in Florida. It was all like kids were like promoters were booking like EDM parties. And I was like, well, that's simple. I could do that with rappers. So we started doing that. We built it up. Got more consistent in Florida, built our relationships with the agents and the managers and all that. Got better at producing concerts, and by 2014 we started working on Rolling Loud. The first one was February 2015 on a super rainy day in Wynwood, flooded.
How many people did you go for the first time?
6,500.
6,500. So pretty small the first time.
Yeah, but the lineup was stacked.
Yeah, tell us the line. What was the lineup of that first one?
It was like Schoolboy Q, Travis Scott during days before rodeo time. Like we had Action, Spitta, like Xavier Wolf and Chris Travis, Rob Banks, Puya, Denzel Curry, stuff that was really
so
relevant.
Still was putting on all the Florida stuff.
Always.
That's always been part of the thing.
Yeah.
And now it's sort of worked out brilliantly because as the festival's grown, maybe not coincidentally, so has the Florida hip-hop scene, and that continues now to be a part of not only this one but all the Rolling Louds, correct?
That's all, like after like the fan experience and safety, that's like number one for us, just because that's where we come from and those are our friends. Like I was just in the studio last night with Wi-Fi's Funeral and Smoke Perp. Like we're all cool. Like we all respect how, like, because we've seen each other. Like they've known me since I was booking 300-person shows. I've known them since they were opening for those shows. You know what I mean?
Opening for 300 people shows. Yeah.
You know, because like we would bring like the Underachievers, Flatbush Zombies, like the guys that were on at the time. I remember Curry opened for the Underachievers. So yeah, those are all the homies, and we love the Florida sound, and we just want to keep helping expand it.
Florida's got amazing. I mean, I'll be honest. My real put on to a lot of it was hosting at Rolling Loud last year. Like I was walking around, and my brother, who you know, is actually, even though he's 4.5 years older than me, he's the one who's a little bit more in touch with everything that's going on. So he'd be like, yo, that's Fat Nick, that's this, you got to talk to this guy, you got to talk to that guy, this guy's tight. And it was actually after the, since Rolling Loud that I really came to appreciate how ill the Florida scene is. It's like I think a lot of people these days are a little bit, and I think mistakenly so at times, but a lot of people are put off by some of the product that's out there. And I think it would surprise people who don't know that this Florida scene might be the closest thing resembling what people thought of as glory day lyricism in hip hop.
Straight up. We're really they're really rapping in Florida. Like, I'm a fan of music that isn't super lyrical, but like we have lyricists. We got fun artists like Lil Pump too, but like Wi-Fi spitting, like X spits, like Ski Mask spits,
super
Puya,
spits.
Denzel, Rob, like these are lyricists. They all got bars.
That's one of the things I found fascinating, because when I was there, obviously just from like a observational standpoint, you know, you're in your 30s, you're looking around, there are kids there that are dumb young. How old are you?
I'm 28.
Right. So even by your standards as a 28-year-old, you're looking around at the 16, 17-year-olds and you're like, damn, cats are out, young kids out here for this festival. And you maybe have a tendency to like prejudge and not really kind of realize what the music's going to be from some of the artists you're not familiar with. And then you pay attention, like, wow, there really is a lot of spitting here. And again, I'm with you. Not that I require that in all the music I listen to, but it feels like I'm constantly having a conversation with people about where are the lyrics.
Yeah.
There are lyrics in Florida.
Yeah, I mean, let's not forget, we have Rick Ross. Like, Rick Ross is one of the best rappers out there. Let's not forget, we got Kodak. You know, like, if you get past, like, the Southern drawl, like, Kodak is saying shit.
Yeah, there's no, you're fine. There's a lot of good rap right now, and a lot of it I found it Rolling Loud. So you started out with 6,500 people a few years ago. Now let's be blunt. How does a kid get involved in this? Like, how did you get started? Did you get family help to start? How does one initially get going and promoting?
So like when we started, I just found out I was having a kid. I was 20 years old, and my family, like, I chose to have the child and drop out of school. My family was kind of like, all right, well, you're on your own. So with me, I didn't have, neither did my partner, like, we didn't have any help from family. We did what we had to do to make money in college. And so we had a good amount of cash saved up. And we booked Rick Ross for a party in Tallahassee, Florida, after party. Long story short, like, we got out, it was like a after party for arena show. The arena promoter booked the only other nightclub. We took the L. They killed it.
And you failed.
And we actually booked Rick Ross. They promoted that they had Rick Ross.
And crushed you.
Yeah.
With the fake promo.
Yeah. So that was our first thing, was a major L.
And what a lesson at the gate too of like of what it could be.
Also, like, to learn, like, to do what we want to do, because like I knew I wanted to do shows. Like, I was trying to book Spitta, and like the Spitta booking with Musa fell through because he did the Smokers Club tour in 2010, the one that was like with Big Crit. So we had to, we were gonna just wait to do Spitta, but the opportunity came up to do Rick Ross for after party, so we did it. I don't regret it for one bit though. It was a great learning experience. Like, you know, the true measure of a man, not what you do when you're up, but when you're down. So we had our backs against the wall, but we didn't quit.
Isn't it bug that you just said, you really casually just mentioned Spitta in 2010, and it sounds like yeah, that was a few years ago. If we were talking in 1980, I always bring this up. It is so basic, but to me it's fascinating. 2010 hip hop to me just does not sound old or like a long time ago. If in 1988 we were talking about that, you'd be referencing back to 1980 when hip hop like barely existed. You know what I'm saying? It's the difference between Melly Mel and Grandmaster Caz being the only rappers versus KRS, Kane. Like, that's how big a gap 8 years is.
Yeah.
And yet, yeah, to me it feels so recent. So what kind of hip hop did you grow up on most that influenced you to do this?
I remember, like, the first thing that got me into hip hop was more so reggae, and I think hip hop, if you trace it, it kind of came from reggae.
Yep.
But the first thing I ever remember was two things. I was living in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and I was listening to Sim Simma on a Walkman, and I thought that was the coolest song. I'd be like playing hockey in my basement, listening to Sim Simma. And after that, this bagger at Bread and Circus, which became Whole Foods or something. Dude gave me his tape. I would listen to that, and I was just like, I just fell in love with rap. And then from then, like, you find, like, you know, the real rap. But as I grew up, like, I keep mentioning Spitta. Like, I'm probably the biggest Spitta fan. And like they put me on game. Like, I came up with them. I remember we would ride around in my Tahoe, like, from show to show, Orlando, Tampa, Miami, like 2011.
So you were just a really big fan who wanted to promote shows because you were a fan and wanted to. You thought you could help them reach more people.
Before that, I wanted to be a rapper. Like, I was in the studio, I was making beats, I was rapping, but I never put anything out because I wasn't confident with my delivery. And like, I just figured, like, all right, that was fun, but like, let's get back to, you know, doing what we do.
So you just always wanted to be close to it in some way.
In some way, I would read every XXL magazine. I would like study people's lyrics, like break down how often they were dropping metaphors. Similes and all that. And I remember I would like print out Lil Wayne lyrics in like 2007 and just be like, how is he doing this?
Right. And how did you learn? I mean, listen, I watched you guys. I was around. I hosted Rock the Bells for like 4 or 5 years. It is not an easy business promoting major, huge concerts. How have you learned to do it? The level of, I mean, you're personally involved with the booking,
totally
dealing with the artists and management,
everything,
and you deal with an obscene amount of artists. You're talking about how many artists are booked for 2018 Miami?
I never count them. Everybody, I'm not that type of thinker, but I think we have like 120.
And how many of those people are you dealing with in some way?
All of them in some way.
In some way,
in
all
some
of
way,
them.
I'm touching it.
On some artists, your partner may lead more, and vice versa.
Exactly. But like, my partner specializes more in logistics and like bar management and stuff like that, and I'm more like the artist guy. Like, I'm vibing, but he's also like connected with a lot of artists too. So there's a balance there. But also, like, we have a great team, and like now that we've grown, like, I do let like my team like book some of the more up and coming guys. A lot of it at my direction, like, yo, make sure we book Danny, or make sure we book, these guys.
But how did you start learning? So like just the process of dealing with power management of a big artist is intimidating. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Honestly,
like, you're dealing with Migos, you're dealing with Coach K, you're dealing with guys who have been around the business for a very long time.
We learned, like I said, we were doing concerts regularly in Florida, and a lot of what we learned from the business was watching how management teams move and like watching them move well, and learning from our mistakes as we did bigger and bigger shows. Once we got up to like 2,000 person shows, and then we just tried it, man. Like, we just take risks. So we did the first one in 2015, and we did a lot of stuff wrong. Miami New Times wrote like a scathing article.
What did they say? I know you held on to some of those words.
Yeah,
what did they say?
They were like, it was, props to them for putting together a lineup, but they had no idea how to throw a festival. There was no signage. The sound was terrible. The smoke alarm was going off the whole time. Like,
how right were they about a lot of that?
They were pretty right about a lot of it, but at the same time, we were dealing with torrential downpour rain. Like, it was the amount of rain that February gets in the whole month. We had double that in one day. So it was like the streets were flooded. Like, give us a break, man. Not to mention, like, at the time, what was I, 25 years old? Like, we were kids putting together a festival, and it happened. Like, regardless of all that.
And it still came off.
Yeah, regardless of all that rain, like, everybody performed. Everybody had a great time. Like, the social media commentary was like, that was the best experience of my life. But this publication chose to harp on, like, the stuff we did wrong. But I was like, okay, I'm gonna learn. Like, that's it. Like, all we do is just try to do better than we did the day before or the year before. So in 2016, we learned from our mistakes. We stepped up our production. We stepped up our logistics. Just simple things to help fans know where they're at. And
I got to tell you, I came away from it feeling, with last year's experience, which I'm guessing at the time was the biggest one you'd done. I walked away from it being like, they kind of know what they're doing. Like, I was impressed. Like, I really expected disaster, to be totally honest. You look at a lineup this big, and again, this year's lineup, May 11th to 13th, Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. Day 1, Friday, J. Cole, Uzi, Nerd, Young Thug, Tory Lanez, Russ, The Diplomats. That's on like the first line.
Dipset.
The second line, I'll just go through the second line also, even though the third and fourth line has some good stuff too. But Ferg, Playboy Cardi, Young Dolph, Currency, Jaden Smith, Big Crit.
Yep.
This is all Friday.
Yep.
And then, there's New York names there. Casanova's on there.
Damn right.
Boz, Dreezy, Juvenile, Rico Nasty, Loot, Kemba. There's some great names on there also.
Shout out Kemba.
Day 2, Saturday, Travis Scott.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Yes, congratulations, new dad Travis. Migos, Wiz, Cardi B, Gucci Mane, Kevin Gates, Lil Pump. That's your second line. Third line, Nav, Metro Boomin, Fetty Wap, Trippie Redd, Chief Keef, Rich the Kid, Belly. And that, of course, then you have amazing Florida things that day, like Trick Daddy and Trina, Smoke Perp, Wi-Fi's Funeral. You also have Lil Skies that day, Smokey Margella, a Jack Harlow, who I think's dope. You got a whole lot of names. Lil Xan. Sunday, future headline Sunday.
Yep.
Post Malone, Lil Wayne, 21, Rick Ross, Juicy J, Yachty. Third line, Bronson, Roy Woods, Slump God, MGK, Suicide Boys. And then there again, other great names: Puya, Ugly God. The list goes on. Like Cody Shane. It's an unbelievable Earth Gang. So many Fat Nick. So many different vibes that you pull together. And what I really liked about it was, to me, I loved Rock the Bells. I was incredibly.
Me too. I never went to one, but I like looked at the posters and would be like, holy crap.
Right. Like you'd be like, I can't believe how many people are there. And it was phenomenal. And I think one of the things Rock the Bells struggled with towards the end was trying to bridge the gap from what they were to what you are. And the hard part was, though, they were dealing with this original base that you're now trying to get to go that way. You've worked the other way around, I believe. You started out, it was just like brand new. Everything is the kid. This is all. But now you've worked in the NERDs and sort of these acts that are a little bit more legacy acts as well. Working that way makes so much more sense.
When you say it that way,
it's what you've been afforded. It wasn't what Rock the Bells was afforded.
Yeah, and also like in their defense, like the music might have not gotten to where it needed to be yet. Like because it was very clear what they were doing, like the Wu-Tangs and the that whole the classic hip hop, right? Yep. The golden era. They were the best at that. And then hip hop started becoming, because it ended like 2007, right?
No, it ended like 2012.
Oh, really?
13.
Okay. Well, I just feel like we were like in this weird in limbo space. Like hard ticket rap shows weren't that big of a thing, and now rap is the #1 genre. So I don't know. They had that in limbo space.
No, you're absolutely right. And they had the golden era thing down, and then they started being like, all right, we want to try to include like things like Kid Cudi or Travis or whoever the new, it wasn't Travis yet, the up and comers were. And I just think they were stuck in a really tough spot identity-wise, and it was the emergence of all their big artists, the Golden Age artists, all started getting picked up by all the other festivals.
Yeah.
Like now Wu-Tang does Coachella. Like
for
now,
a lot more money than Rock the Bells was playing.
They go everywhere now. So I think you guys stepped into this spot of like, wait a second, why isn't there a hip-hop festival that is all-encompassing to the culture?
Yeah, I mean, we started, like you said, for the kids, and it's interesting. We actually have gotten some pushback with some of these kids. Like, why are you booking these older guys? You know,
really, there has been some of that.
But I'm just like, yo, you can go to the other stage if you don't want to see the older guys.
And when push comes to shove, most of the people, when they're there and they're coming on, like, holy shit, I want to see that.
When Back That Ass Up drops, come on, man. Like, the earth is going to shake.
Exactly. Like, NERD's in a place she wants to move, and people aren't going to be amped up like that. That's the only way it works. So you've announced Asia now and these other things that you have coming.
Yeah. Not the lineups, but like.
But that you're doing for Asia shows in the summer.
Yeah.
What are the other aspirations for Rolling Loud?
We want to keep getting better at what we currently do, because like I'm never gonna say that the festival that we present is perfect. Like we still are fine tuning things, but like even from Miami to the Bay and to LA, like we got better from Miami to the Bay, and then from October to December we got better from the Bay to LA. Like with just logistics and systems and our processes and building out our team and delegating and trying, coming from micromanaging everything to having budgets to build out a team and being able to trust people to do their job. So a lot of it is just focusing on getting better, first of all, so we don't mess up like what the bread and butter is. But aside from that, the move this year is to expand the brand, because we've been killing it with merch this past year. We expanded into the merch field or whatever, and our merch has been booming. So now what else can we do? So we're talking content, media, music, just expanding the brand in that way.
And are these things that we'll see getting worked on throughout the festivals this year?
Throughout the festivals, soon. We've been talking with a lot of content creators and just looking to really like harness the experience that we have and the access that we have with all these artists to do like cool things.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, where can people get information, tickets, etc., all things Rolling Loud?
RollingLoud.com. We're really up on our socials. our social media manager Kelvin like will clap back at you on Twitter if you say something smart.
So Rolling Loud was down to clap back.
Oh, dude, we like roast people on Twitter. Like people have been complaining about the ticket price, and I understand. Like,
what is the ticket price?
It's $299
for all 3 days.
Correct.
And people are just saying that's a lot of money, obviously.
Well, no, I mean, we sold a lot of tickets already, so most people aren't saying that. But, you get a few comments like, why is it so expensive? It was way cheaper last year. It's like,
and what was it last year?
Last year, the average, most people paid $250, but we had early birds at like $150. It was our first time scaling up, so we had to like build the base. But so with people getting upset this year, like Kelvin will just clap back, like be like, "All right, man, if you don't want to come, go ahead and wait for the next hip hop festival to book all the rappers you want to see."
Right, exactly. What are you gonna do now? But why? Can you explain the price though a little bit? Because $299 is a lofty price for sure.
Yeah, if you see 120 names on the flyer, just guess how much money those people get paid. First of all, like we pay our artists real money, like they are making a lot of money off this show. That's number one. Number two, it costs a lot of money to produce a show. It actually costs more than what we're paying the artists. So you spend around, I probably shouldn't talk about the actual numbers,
but a huge
it's
number.
multi-millions of dollars. Like all in, the show costs well over $10 million to produce. So you got to make it back somehow. And we're not a festival we haven't really like sold out yet, quote unquote. Like we don't do that many sponsors. Like we'll sponsor the stages and we'll do some integrations, but it's not like Rolling Loud presented by sponsor, It's very much grassroots. Our bread and butter is the ticket. We don't make that much off the concessions.
Can people do 1 days or no? It's only $299.
In our other markets, we do single day passes, or we've done them, but in Miami, we just do the 3-day pass because it sells out with the 3-day, and it's easier that way to keep track of the
I wonder where that ranks though in terms of ticket price. 300 to get people to. I mean,
here's how I compare it to. I compare us not to Coachella. I don't compare us to that. I compare us to like EDC or Ultra because they are what we are in EDM. That's like our model is a lot based on them, and they charge more than us. So,
really?
Yeah.
More than $299 for 3 days.
Yeah.
Wow, people really love going to concerts. I tell you what.
You know what, man? You can't replace an experience. And if you got a job or if you hustle or whatever it is you do, if you got bread, like it's worth the experience.
Well, yeah, and if you're a kid who loves this music, getting to look forward to a 3-day weekend with friends where it's like, for 3 days you're seeing everybody you love, and the setup's relatively easy, getting back and forth to see as many artists you can, at least setup-wise from last year was pretty easy. Now, you like the Hard Rock setup better this year than last year?
I don't want to throw dirt on Bayfront. I love Bayfront, but it's just we wanted to build our own world we want to build our own world this year, and we will build our own world by being able to. After doing the shows in California, which were more like parking lot type setups, like we realized like wow, blank slate, like you can really like do some really cool stuff. So and have more space, like back of house, so everything's more organized. So I'm looking forward to just having a skate park at the festival and cool integrations that people are like, what?
Like doing some different, and this allows you that. Hard Rock allows you that.
Yeah, there's more space.
Well, listen, I strongly recommend it. Go check out Rolling Loud if you're going to be in Miami, May 11th through 13th. Tarek, congratulations, bro.
Thank you.
And
I appreciate
it was nice to hear the message too of where it all started from a hip hop standpoint, because that was one of the things I think even you old folks, and I did see other grown ass hip hop fans were there having a good time.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll marvel at what people are wearing for sure.
Oh, a hype beast.
Central. Yeah, it is hype beasting on a level you've never seen before, but it is a great time. Rolling Loud 2018. Thank you, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Good shit, bro.